Hi guys, Melissa here, and the theme for this week is the hero's journey. The first book that we're going to read is When Giants Come to Play, written by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by Kevin Hawkes. And then we're going to read Disney's Hercules, and end it with another rhyme from our real Mother Goose. Okay. All right. Sometimes, on a summer morning, when the sun shines just so, and the wind blows like this and like that, on its way to somewhere else, giants come to play. They come to play with Anna, who waits for them just beyond the end of Lillian Lane. When giants come to play, they hide and seek. Anna knows lots of good places to hide. And there's Anna right there. When giants come to play, they shoot marbles in the park, though they never play for keeps. On mild days, they gather flowers in the garden. On wild days, they play catch by the gnarled oak tree. When giants come to play, they jump rope and sing. Even the neighbors like to watch. Then, as the midday sun spreads itself like a blanket over the grass, Anna and the giants share mint tea and cakes that drip chocolate frosting. Giants never make a mess. When giants come to play, they pick peaches on the hillside and send seeds soaring through the summer sky. When giants come to play, they race with Anna through the meadow. It makes the giants happy when she lets them win. Sometimes they play dolls with Anna's sister. Other times, they race cars with Anna's brother. When giants come to play, they dangle their toes in the cool, shady pond and whisper secrets until their shadows grow long and sleepy. As the crickets bring out their fiddles and milk-white moths dance for the stars, and Anna and the giants say good night. Then sometimes, on a summer night, when the moon shines just so, and the wind blows like this and like that on its way home from somewhere else, Anna drifts to sleep smiling. She smiles not because giants come to play, but because she hopes they've come to stay. The end. That's such a good book. Okay. Now this one is Disney's Hercules. Listen up, folks. We have a tale to tell. It's about Hercules, a great hero. Well, our story starts long before Hercules was born. Monsters called Titans made the earth a terrible place to live, until Zeus, ruler of the gods, locked them up. He gave each god a job to bring order to earth. Now, let's flash forward in time to a party on Mount Olympus. All the gods and goddesses were celebrating the birth of Zeus and Hera's baby boy Hercules. Zeus made a special gift for his son by shaping clouds into a little winged horse. His name is Pegasus, Zeus said, and he's all yours, son. Then the god Hades arrived and threw a dark cloud over the party. Hades ruled the underworld and had never forgiven Zeus for giving him that job. Hades didn't care much for baby Hercules either. The kid was too strong. Hades didn't stay at the party for long. He had a date with the Fates. The three old women could tell him whether his plan to take over Olympus would succeed. They had some news for Hades. In 18 years precisely, the planets will align ever so nicely. You and the Titans will cause Zeus to fall. Then you, Hades, will rule them all. But before Hades could get excited, the Fates added, a word of caution to this tale. If Hercules fights, you will fail. Did that stop Hades? Of course not. He just gave his henchmen, Pain and Panic, a potion that could change a baby god into a baby mortal. Once little Hercules drank every last drop, Pain and Panic could get rid of him for good. Then Hades could defeat Zeus and rule the world. Well, Pain and Panic stole the baby Hercules and got him to drink most of the potion, but a mortal couple, Alcmene and Amphitryon, scared them off before Hercules could finish the last drops. So, Pain and Panic turned into snakes. But even though baby Hercules was a human, he still had great strength. As they limped away, Pain and Panic decided not to tell Hades that Hercules was still alive. The kind mortal couple adopted baby Hercules. Zeus and Hera sadly watched their son grow up on Earth. Since the boy was mortal, he couldn't be with them on Olympus. Because Hercules couldn't control his strength, trouble followed him everywhere. One day, he even knocked down the whole marketplace. "This is the last straw, Amphitryon!" people shouted. "Keep him away from here!" That very night, Amphitryon and Alcmene showed Hercules the medallion that he had been wearing when they found him. Hercules decided that he needed to find out where he belonged. It was a sad day for his mortal parents, but they kissed their son, and he set off. Hercules' first stop was at a temple of Zeus. This was the moment his father had been waiting for. The huge statue of Zeus came to life and smiled at his startled son. "Didn't you know you had a famous father?" He chuckled. That was good news to Hercules. At last, he knew where he belonged, on Mount Olympus with his dad. But Zeus had bad news too. Only gods can live on Mount Olympus, but if you prove yourself a true hero on Earth, you will be a god again. Find Philoctetes, the trainer of heroes. Then Zeus whistled for Pegasus, who had grown just as much as Hercules. Hercules jumped onto Pegasus's back, and with a shout, "I'll find Philoctetes. I'll be a true hero." The path to becoming a true hero was full of obstacles. Philoctetes was the first one. "I'm retired," he told Hercules. But with one last hope of training a genuine hero and a little lightning bolt from Zeus, Phil got to work. In time, Hercules got stronger and faster, and better all around. Finally, Phil said, "Time for a road test. We're going to Thebes." Hercules didn't even get to Thebes before he had his first test. A young woman named Megara was trying to get away from a centaur, Nessus. Hercules knocked the horseshoes right off that centaur, but that was nothing compared to the way Meg knocked the sandals off Hercules. My name is Hercules," he stammered. "I think I'll call you Wonder Boy," Meg told him. Then she said goodbye. What Hercules didn't know was that Meg owed Hades a big debt, so Hades wasn't very happy that she had failed to get Nessus to help him fight Zeus. "It wasn't my fault," Meg told him. "It was this Wonder Boy, Hercules." Just the mention of that name made Hades burn. "Hercules is still around?" he roared at Pain and Panic. But then he glowed thoughtfully. "Well, at least we still have some time to correct this problem." Meanwhile, the problem and his trainer had arrived in Thebes. The Thebans weren't interested in Hercules' hero services. But even though the Thebans wouldn't give Hercules a chance to show off, Meg would. Under Hades' orders, she rushed into town and told Hercules about two little boys trapped in a rock slide. Faster than you could say Corinthian Colossus, Hercules rescued the boys, who were really pain and panic in disguise. Suddenly, a monster, the Hydra, came hissing out of the ground. The Hydra had a special talent. It grew 3 new heads every time Hercules lopped off one. Hercules seemed doomed, but he had one trick left. He caused another rock slide and crushed the Hydra. From that day on, Hercules was famous. He fought lots of monsters, and he had to fight off adoring fans too. Everywhere he looked, people were wearing Hercules clothes, drinking Herculade, and buying Hercules action figures. So Hercules thought it was time to talk to Zeus about getting back to Mount Olympus. But once again, Zeus had bad news for his son. "I'm afraid being famous isn't the same as being a true hero." "But what more can I do?" Hercules asked. "It's something you have to discover for yourself," Zeus said. "Look inside your heart." Now, if you think Hercules was upset, you should have seen Hades. He knew Hercules could run his plans. "He's got to have a weakness," Hades snarled at Meg. If she could find it, he told her, she could have her freedom. So, Meg spent the day with Hercules trying to discover his weakness, but all she found was a weakness of her own. She was falling in love with the Wonder Boy. Just then, Phil showed up. "All right, break it up here," Phil yelled. He hustled Hercules onto Pegasus's back. As they flew away, Hercules was so love-struck that he didn't even notice Phil was falling off. Phil landed right near Meg and Hades. He didn't hear Meg tell Hades she was finished helping him, but he did hear Hades tell Meg, "I own you. If I want Wonder Boy, you deliver." "This'll break the kid's heart," Phil muttered. As Phil ran off, Meg told Hades, "You can't beat him. He has no weaknesses." And that's when it hit Hades. Meg was Hercules' weakness. Hercules wouldn't listen to Phil's warning about Meg and Hades. Finally, Phil said, "Okay, that's it. I'm hopping on the first barge out of here." As soon as Phil left, Hades showed up with Meg in chains. "If you give up your strength for the next 24 hours, Hades offered, "Meg here will be free and safe from harm. But if something should happen to her, you'll get your strength back right away." When they shook hands on the deal, Hades drained of the strength right out of Hercules. But Hades didn't stop there. He told him that he was planning a change of address to Mount Olympus. "Oh yes," Hades added. "Remember Meg's plea to save those precious little kids?" As pain and panic took the form of 2 little boys, Hades cackled at the hurt look on Hercules' face. The would-be hero finally realized what Meg had done. Meg tried to explain that she had no choice, but Hercules turned away. Hades' evil plan had worked. Without his strength, Hercules would never be able to keep Hades from taking over Olympus. So, as the planets aligned, Hades was able to go and release the Titans. "Destroy Zeus!" they roared. As the other Titans thundered toward Olympus, Hades pulled the Cyclops aside and sent him to Thebes to destroy Hercules. The gods put up a good fight, but the winds of the Tornado Titan swept most of them out of action. Zeus found himself facing the Lava Titan and the Ice Titan. One nasty team. The Lava Titan poured molten rock all over Zeus, and the Ice Titan froze it hard. Zeus was trapped, and Hades made himself at home on Olympus. Things weren't going much better for Hercules. He didn't have the strength to beat the Cyclops. Meg knew that he didn't have any hope left either. Hopping on Pegasus, she raced to find Phil. "You're the only one who can give him hope," Meg told him. "If you don't help him now, he'll die." That made up Phil's mind. He joined Meg, and they hurried back to Hercules. Herc was down and nearly out for the count when he heard Phil. "You can do it, kid!" Phil shouted. "You can go the distance!" Now coming from Phil, that meant a lot. As Hercules gathered the strength he had left, he was scooped up by the Cyclops, but Herc grabbed a burning stick and shoved it at the Cyclops. Thebes never heard such a howl. The Cyclops dropped Hercules, stumbled, and fell off a cliff. Meg saw a pillar falling towards Hercules. She pushed him out of the way, but the pillar fell on her. Now that Meg had been hurt, the deal with Hades had been broken. Hercules' strength returned instantly. "Why did you risk your life?" Hercules asked. "People do funny things when they're in love," Meg told him. Before he left for Olympus, Hercules turned to Phil and said, "Take care of her." He got to Mount Olympus just as Hades was settling into his new home. In one fell swoop, all right, maybe three. Hercules freed the gods, freed Zeus, and sent the Titans packing. Hades got in the last word, though, as he headed back to his dark domain. "Well, at least I've got a friend of yours who's dying to meet me." He raced back to Thebes, but by the time he got back there, Meg's spirit had already slipped from her body. Phil sighed. "I'm sorry, kid, but there are some things you just can't change." He had other plans. He knew where Meg's spirit had gone, and he planned on bringing it back. He burst into Hades' underworld. "You like the deals," he said. "Take me in Meg's place." Hades had to think about it for about a second. "Okay," he said. "She goes. You stay." He plunged into the swirl of spirits. Right away, he started aging. He was nearly ancient by the time he found Meg's spirit. And there she is right there. Then a funny thing happened, only it wasn't very funny to Hades. Hercules began to glow with the brightness of a god. Hades tried to keep him from leaving with Meg's spirit, but Hercules flung the lord of the underworld down into a bottomless pit. Hades would never trouble either mortals or gods again. He reunited Meg's spirit with her body, and soon he and Meg were on their way to Olympus. Herc's proud father and mother were waiting for him. "Fine work, my boy," Zeus said. "Now you know that a true hero is not measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart. Welcome home." But Hercules realized that his true home was with Meg, on earth. So Zeus did one last thing to keep his son up in the heavens. He created an image of Hercules in the stars that would last forever. The end. Okay. So our rhyme for today is Humpty Dumpty. And it goes, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Thanks, guys.